we are back for another warm-up show with the hockey coach, goal coach Francis directly for the beautiful country of Thailand on the great Monday, February 2023. Have to go from the caveman to the up caveman. I don't know how you can call it. Upside down. It depends how you want it. He's back in the house after a great weekend. He ready to talk about hockey. The greatness of Mr. ENORTAP is in the house.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. Yeah, we're going through a little bit of remodification here. I got to get my room set up with the Montreal
Yeah, it
Canadiens
look
stuff
like
again.
right now it's it's a little bit like you prepare for the trade deadline, so that's happening right now. So you're
That's
going
it.
to have a long day with us, so you prepare for the be ready for the trade deadline. So you give you 2 more weeks,
You
Mr.
got it,
Natat, to
Coach.
set up your background. That'd be great. And then we have a few people knock the door. We're going to talk about this. We have 6 games of the program today, but 4 are but 2 over, 2 inactive, and then we have after that 2 is going to be
Yeah,
happening at 7 o'clock tonight. We're going to talk about those games. A little bit review the weekend. A couple of teams are looking great. Other teams go to another direction. A couple of news around the league. One trade, and then a couple of players injury. We're going to talk about other team. Then Montreal Canadiens. They maybe need our boss to
tough
carry on
schedule.
their injuries from one hospital to another hospital, but that's a story a little bit later. We can talk about this. And then we have people show up. We are going to talk about the leaderboard of the prediction, Mr. Nata. We have this, you did it. And then what happening last Friday, we have a few people did very well. Yamo King, Double J, and Luciano, 3 and 2. Congratulations for them. They're going to be on the bus. It's a slightly bus, right? Yeah, they only barely make it, but we give it. We are generous
That's
people
okay.
here at the Hockey
Yeah,
Nation Show, Mr.
absolutely.
Tap.
We have to be.
You're absolutely about this.
Yeah.
So we have a few people knock the door, so we're not looking about here. And welcome everybody. Let me increasing the volume here. First of all, Melissa Zabra is in the house.
Hey, Melissa, welcome.
From Detroit, now she's back in the north. Maybe not a good idea when it's cold, but we'll see. Her friend Gary, Roadrunner Cournoyer, back in the house.
How's it going, Gary?
Thanks to be with us, Mr. Roadrunner from the Montreal area. We have the Captain Kirk. The Captain Kirk is in the house. Welcome aboard. Thanks, Mr. Ryan, to be with the Hockey Nation Live Show. And then we have our
Welcome,
friend, Mr. Double J from Toronto is in the house. Thanks so much to be with us on this great Monday. What about, I see somewhere, somehow, I see Yamo. Here we go. Yamo Vartanen, the senator for Finland, knocked the door.
Moi, Yarmo.
Flames, again, should stop picking them.
I know.
We have the same feeling about that one
We
there.
won't learn our lesson.
Yep, so right about this. Mr. King of Gamer back in the house. Welcome back.
How's it going, Justin?
You say you're working or you 10. Yeah, possible. Who knows?
Artificially.
Yeah, Mr. Joseph Laham is in the house. Mr. Tab directly from Houston, Texas. On a great Monday.
Sir.
I almost said 3-2 is the boss. We like I said, we gave you a little bit more information about this one. Anaheim with another point, 9 points separate in the standings closer. Can we think also help the bottom 5 to keep getting points? You're right about this. I still Montreal not going to get under the Anaheim, but it's funny because you think about Chicago, Columbus, and Anaheim, but I'll get point this weekend. Like it's crazy when you think about this. Arizona get more point. Now San Jose could win today, and Vancouver won this weekend. So everybody on the bottom get some point during the weekend below Montreal Canadiens. So this is good news. If you want the Montreal go at the bottom 5 for sure. Rain Cook said that 1-4, I believe that's the worst I've done since joining the. That's okay. We've always been there, Rain.
That's not bad.
The good news, you can restart tonight and go to another direction. So that's a good thing about that. So that's a great thing. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. Our friend Pierre Martin is in the house, Mr. Tap. Welcome back, Pierre. Thanks to be with the Hockey Nation Show. And then Ryan Kirk said Patrick Kane show up during the weekend. They have a couple of good goal. I think he had 4 or 5 goals in the last couple of games for the Chicago Blackhawks. Surprisingly,
He's been
beat
hot.
the Toronto Maple Leafs by the score 5-3 this weekend again. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the team happening. So
Mm.
that's happening about that one with them. We're going to start to talk about this. We want to congratulate the 3-star of the week for us. What about Vinny, Mr. Natal? 1 point, 28 point this week for Vinny. Congratulations for that one. He's a first star. Following by Danny is on the star, Mr. Natal. Unbelievable. Danny is a third star. So congratulations, Danny. That happened. I think it's the first time he's a 3-star of the night. With I put 24 but 23 with Peter August, but then a second is Double J, 24 point Mr. Top. So I just want to share it with you at the beginning of the show what we got here.
A lot of movement. Yeah.
Yeah,
There
sorry
was a lot of
about this.
movement
I
this
picked the
week.
Flyers. I have a feeling they will play good tonight. I thought to think about this too. Me too, K, but I was too chicken again. So that's happening
You
about
can't
that.
rely on them. That's the problem. That's, you have to
Yeah,
kind
we'll
of
talk about
guess
this.
who might get that victory.
Yamu said it's not good for Nick if Chicago win only during the weekend, so he cannot get point for Nick about this.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Edmonton's getting Saloon today? Yeah, we're going to talk about this in the next couple of seconds for that. So, Mr. Natal, what we do at the beginning of the show, we talk about what's going on around the league. And first of all, what got your attention during the weekend? We can talk from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and something like that. I would mention to you who have a good weekend and who at the first row, Rangers, Vegas, New Jersey, and the Kings are on the straight about 3 to 4, 5, 6, 7 games straight, or they have a point in the last 7, 8 games like the Rangers. At the bottom is the flip side. It's a last 4, last 3, last 4, and San Jose is only 2, 5, and 3. So they are for them at the bottom is on top. But what paid a bit more your attention for the weekend?
Well, of course, the big headliner, coach, was the big trade that the Leafs pulled off on Friday night when we came on live and discussed that trade with our fans. And then we saw that they put in a very good game against Montreal on Saturday night. I thought, Montreal for the first period sort of showed up, but the second and third period, you can tell that the Leafs were really dumping the puck in there and putting a lot of pressure on the young defense, and they were coughing it up quite a bit, and that's what caused the goals. Like you can't blame Allen. I thought he played a good game and kept them in there. But how did the Leafs respond? They come back the next night. They play against Chicago. You could say, okay, they were tired from the night before, but when you have two teams that you should be picking up 4 points against and you only get two, I don't know. I question that. I don't think that they're where they're supposed to be yet.
Um, Yeah, but it's funny because they does this also all year long, Mr. Top. I think they are 4 or 5, 5, 3 or
Yeah,
something like barely 500. Again, the bottom five of the
the low
NHL,
team.
including Montreal with that part over there. It's not new. Um, the good news, if you struggle to beat Boston and Carolina, that will be more difficult. But uh, you know, um, and we see this at the beginning of the year, right? It's not the 82 game, it's the
Absolutely.
first
Yeah.
round, right?
Yeah. And then we have Vegas came up with a very big win on Saturday against Tampa Bay. Uh, Neither goalie really had a lot of action in that game. Coach, both Hill and Vasilevsky weren't tested too much, but they were scoring left and right in this game. At one point, I think Vegas had a 4-2 lead, and the score was a little bit more complimentary to Tampa Bay because I thought, especially in the second and early parts of the third, that Vegas carried the action in that game. Um, it was an indication of the type of playoff games that you could see sometimes. Detroit, I thought, okay, they lost to Seattle on Saturday, but pretty much they've had a good stretch of time where they've have been winning and putting some important points on the and getting themselves back into the race. So that's something that needs to be looked at for sure. And the Kings, they keep rolling. They're starting to score. I think if they get a little bit of help at the trade deadline time, this will really go a long way in solidifying their playoff spot for sure.
Yeah. Like you talk about the Vegas, I think at some point it was not 4-1.
4-1, I thought. Yeah,
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 so they gave away another, and they come back, and it was a very entertaining game at Vegas. Surprisingly, Vegas found a way now to come back and take a little bit in charge
yeah.
about the Pacific Division. I think you said that to me. I don't know if it was live or was together. We talked to each other, but I think Edmonton lose too many points on the table. I think they lost the 3 game last week, I believe, on the
All in
uh,
overtime.
on overtime shootout, whatever you want to call it. Again, Colorado this weekend it was a fun game to watch. 6-5. We have to give credit for Colorado to come back, and then they lost the last week again at home. It's just Edmonton. They need something. They cannot go nowhere with what they have right now, unfortunately for them. So it's on the team right there. Yeah, So it's a really interesting weekend
It
overall. Not
seems
like a big splash, like wow, this is crazy or everything, but I think something after when they get those W, and it just see the wild card getting closer and closer. For the Eastern Conference, Mr. Top, we can include now Detroit doing very, very well. Buffalo get that W on the road, important thing. And then I understand it may be not going to make the playoff, but Minnesota found a way to get a W, Mr. Top, during the weekend. So that's good for them, at least to be in the in the state and the race for the playoff, and for the Calgary for sure, Colorado at the same time, and unfortunately Dallas and Winnipeg lost a big game last week at least during the weekend. Dallas lost 2-1, I believe.
but
Columbus
again, if I
4-1. Columbus were two empty net,
that's right. Yeah.
and then Winnipeg Jet lost yesterday. So so it's still 2 weeks for the trade deadline, and then you have to, something's going to move for sure. Still have a lot of people, good team players on the market. Will be interesting talking about what's coming. We want to welcome back Jeffrey Khoury from Taiwan is in the house, and Mr.
Hey, Jeffrey.
Dixon Automotive Group inside of his BMW driving home on the 407. Mr. Tap is with us tonight.
Yeah, Coach, that Central Division is really starting to get a little bit tighter, and we're seeing Colorado's slowly inching closer and closer. As you said, Dallas has not had a good stretch of games. The last 10, they've only gone 3-2-5 in that time, and really Winnipeg hasn't been much better. They've been a little bit better, but they've only been 5-5. So it's like they're leaving the door wide open for Colorado to take over at some point. And don't be surprised if Colorado wins that division.
Yeah, again, it's a team coming back in the race right there, and we knew at some point it would. It's just question of time with the injuries, but we be see what they can do about this. WJ talk about the lead are not going to pass the first round. The trade does not solve the problem. Thinking that they are special to the winning again. The Ab and the Dream Smoke what Chicago back to. Yeah, I will not judge this way. Now, when I agree with him, they are not done yet. They need a piece of the puzzle to complete what they're looking for. So we have to wait. I think they were going to get another left defenseman, another additional player, maybe some depth. But again, I like what they did. They need that if they want to try a chance to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning. They have this right now. Really good players. Bring on the table. I'm not you worry about the game against Chicago, whatever happening. Like
No, no.
if they can beat the big team and they can compete, I would be not. But again, they cannot go. They have to add a defenseman, and if they add Kavrikov or a Chick Run or and maybe not Emerson, but whatever. They need to bring something on the left defenseman. That's definitely the biggest thing you have to do if they want to go a little bit deeper. If they all want to go all in, Mr. Nassab.
Yeah, I agree. I think defense is the first area that they need to concern themselves with. I do believe that they probably will make at least one more move to try to address that. My biggest concern, coach, still, and I know maybe you don't agree with it, but I still think the big difference, if you're looking at Tampa and you're looking at Toronto, is in the net. And it looks like I'm not sure if I read today that Murray might be on the LTIR now, and he
Yeah,
might
it's
be as much
on
as
a
the
long-term injury visit. They try to figure out if he's going to be out until the end of the play, or until the end of the season, so they can
right.
add $5 million to plus on their salary cap.
True. So they can
So
address that area right
that
there.
will change a lot
Uh,
of things about that. Now they can add a bigger contract for, they could get right now Patrick Kane
Absolutely.
example,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So
Not that they will. I don't think he'll land there in Toronto, but
no, but
again,
the points back to add a good contract,
yeah, they
like
have the money. They have the
yes.
money. Yeah.
So a money an
Yeah.
example, like it's just a player have a bigger contract to get that word. But you're absolutely right for sure. We have Mr. Willie Snyder
Yeah.
knock the door, and then Dixon said no, it's not a
Hey,
BMW,
Willie.
it's just a Nissan, Mr. ENORTAP. So
What kind of Nissan?
so that's what we got here. So we're going to get that one over there. We're going to move on with other news. First of all, the star of the week, Mr. Zap, Tim Suzla, McKinnon, and Dylan Larkin are the three star of the weeks. Great week for in the last couple of years, maybe not in many years, but we talked earlier the Dallin. Then we got Zegras, and then we got Caulfield, and the new generation player star. But I think one is getting better and better. Is Tim Susla. It could become maybe the best player on that draft when he got drafted by the Ottawa Senator. I think it was the number third of the year, third overall. 10 point again last week. Nathan McKinnon of 9.4 game. Nathan have a good week. And then Dylan Larkin for the Detroit. Well, the Detroit lost the last game, but they're doing very well. They perform. And then finally, I want to remind everybody, I make a great video. I think it's good to see that. What behind the Suzuki trade. The reason everybody thought at some point, Mr. Tap, Mac Bergevin, he was only targeting a Nick Suzuki at the trade deadline for that trade. So, if people say, oh, it was good for Bergevin, but it was not the case. That's the funny thing about that. So what happening that year? The Vegas Golden Knight draft Cody Glass from number 9, Suzuki 13, and Eric Brankstrom number
That's
15.
right.
And Vegas or Montreal Canadiens said we want a first round pick of one of the three. We want a veteran players they offered that out, and we want a second round pick in return. That was what he's looking for. So what Vegas did, the Calgary Mr. ENORTAP tied the game 3-3. What happening at that moment, Mr. ENORTAP, is it's Vegas select Suzuki, not Bergevin request Suzuki.
Oh,
So that would be the
interesting.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. The second thing, at the same time, Vegas heard the Montreal Canadiens got another proposal. Same situation, first round pick, a second round pick, and a top 8 prospect and a veteran from another team. I could not get who was that team. But Vegas got scared to losing Pacioretty, and they made the deal and they gave Suzuki in return.
Oh wow,
So
that's
behind
amazing.
the
I didn't
trade,
know
so we
that.
have a chance to watching this
Yeah.
video. It's pretty interesting about that. But in fact, you have a story behind that. Pacioretty requests a trade, and nobody knew about that. We know the
Yeah.
relationship it was toxic between Bergevin and Pacioretty. They have some kind of money where he was underpaid, right? It was a bargain for Montreal Canadiens after 3 seasons of 30 goals a plus when Montreal Canadiens at $4.5 million. His agent Alan Walsh and him Pacioretty request to renegotiate the contract return of that. So starting at the Christmas 2017. they request this. Bergevin wait 7-8 months, September 10th, to create that trait at the end of the day. So, very funny video. I think sometimes it's good to see other things behind the door. And I just want sharing that with you and everybody here in the chat. So,
That's fantastic. I look forward to seeing that.
yep. So that's what happening about this one there, Mr. Natap. We want to send people already in the bus. I think it would be better to go that way, Mr. Natap. So why not to send them all the way?
Let's
We
do
have a few
it.
people already. We mentioned them at the beginning of the show. So let's make them in the bus. Mr. Natap was very, very generous to send them at 3-2. Because sometimes we put some people 2-3 in the jail. So
You have to. You have to.
it was okay.
They went
It
over
was,
500. Yeah.
yeah, it was okay about this one over there. So thanks so much, RJ. Then we try to we get in the chat. Did I heard some buzz about Kane going to Edmonton? It's something happening right there. For that one there, I know some people talk about Islanders, and we're going to get there in the next couple of minutes. So don't stay with us. We're going to check on the segment on the Montreal Canadiens. We have only two games to talk about, so we're going to eat a bit more slowly here. The Montreal Canadiens injuries, guys. But finally, we got some news today, but maybe not the good news. 10 players
I
now.
heard.
10 players now on the regular players are on the injury reserve. Doc is a virus,
Yeah.
and he's not going to play tomorrow. We don't know. He's still debate fight with that kind of virus. So that's the situation with Kirby Doc. Then Whiteman, upper body injury, Mr. Tap, so he's out for the Montreal Canadiens. And that's the reason they called
Another
up Sherman.
defenseman.
So he took he took about 3 days to know the situation with Whiteman, but it is what it is about that. Jordan Edmondson does some kind of figure skating solo right now with the Montreal Canadiens at the Brassard. He said, "No, I don't want to practice with the team. Better to skating. Maybe have a double figure skating Olympic in 2036 Olympics. But that's happening with him. Looking good. We saw him skating today. He does all those kind of head work and everything. But again, we don't know he's come back. Finally, Kenan Cooley, Mr. Tap, back on the ice. The Flyers just scored, Mr. Tap, 4-3. Take the lead.
4-3, yeah.
Wow. 8 minutes to go. Nobody.
The bigger surprise is San Jose. 4-0 win.
Yep. San Jose.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Good news for Montreal Canadiens. But Cooley is back on the lineup. No contact jersey. Glad to see him with Montreal. So he's still on the pace to be back at the beginning of the March. That's what. So I'm gonna be surprised he's go to the West Coast trip with the Montreal Canadiens to reach that team and the Montreal Canadiens. So it's good news for them. And we want to know the next one.
News.
Mr. Natap?
I think I know. Maybe Monahan. Yeah.
Sean Monahan.
Not a mystery. Not a mystery anymore, Coach. I heard
Out
that
again.
apparently he has a very light groin pull, and they're saying that it's not very, very serious. Has nothing to do with his hip, is what I read today, this afternoon. So hopefully that's good news. Hopefully.
Well, it's not a good news when you think about that, right? Because you practice with the teams on the weekend, and now you go Monday and you're not on the ice.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. I just can't help but feel there's more to this than just mystery here. Like, they're being a little bit too sly, a little bit too evasive. Today they tell you one thing, tomorrow it's a different thing.
But tomorrow he's not going to play against the Devils Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
no, yeah, I doubt we'll see him play again here, even in Montreal.
Yeah, but again, I think he has something, something not right about him at the end of the day for him. But it is what it is. Figure 8 for Edmondson, Gary. Yes, figure 8 for. Yeah, I'm sorry about this. I agree with you. about him. For that's happening about the Montreal Canadiens. Anything else? They practice today back on the ice. They do a lot of 2 versus 1. Martin said we focusing now for what he has, and they are ready to play against the New Jersey Devils for sure. A small trade, Mr. On top, Ottawa, New York Rangers. You talk about the big one. Tyler Motte returned to New York Rangers, got Gauthier and the 7th round pick conditional if they make the first round to the second round. They become a 6th round pick, Mr. Natap. I'm not going to
Yeah.
get that one yet, but I want to talk about this one. That bad news for New York Islanders out definitely is Mr. Matthew Barzal, Mr. Natap. This is not good if you are New York Islanders, and that would be
Out
something.
indefinitely.
I'm sorry.
Out indefinitely too. That's the scary part.
Yeah, exactly. So this is not what you're looking for if you're not kind of battle for the playoff spot, Mr. Natap. Chicago Tays out with COVID again. So it's not good for him. Out same situation with Basel. Washington maybe this week they hope they will come back. Washington lost the last 4 games, not looking good for the playoff spot. And then Jerry is in tonight, so Mr. Natap. So
Yeah,
that's what we got
finally.
at that moment about this. So a lot of people talk about Sven Hughes, Mr. Top. So let's see if I can catch up some conversation we got in the conversation. I will send it to you right away, Mr. Top. Do you think the Islanders will make a move by the deadline? What do you need the most?
Well, that's tough to say now, though, Justin. I mean, I my immediate impression is yes, they're gonna. I always thought that they would make another move, anyways. Probably at the forward position on the wing. But I don't know this thing with Barzell now. I don't know if they're going to rethink this and maybe not go all in. I don't know. I'm really stuck on this now.
Yeah, that will be something we have to look about this. And then I want to share it with you for Gamer Gamer. Talk about that enough. He talk about Hoffman, Anderson, talk about Devorak, Allen. Do you think we can put a slightly bigger trait here?
You mean a package deal? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
or
referring
something you
to?
expect one of them could be trade, or they expect like they make something bigger. What the way people think they're not going to make a big deal.
I still like we had this question last night. I think on the chat. Maybe it was Justin as well that proposed it. But I still believe things have been very quiet with Dvorak, and I think he's a very reliable third center on any team's line. So somebody that's just looking to have a solid centerman will probably look towards his direction. Now, I know the money is I think 4.5 million that he's carrying right now for this year and next year. Um, but I think it's very doable, and that's somebody that we haven't thrown his name around as much as guys like Anderson and Edmondson and Dadonov and Hoffman and so on, right? Drouin. So that if you're asking for a probably a surprise, that would be it in my eyes.
Okay. We want to welcome Alan Barnes and then Chicago Bear. Welcome both of you. Thanks for with us.
Well, guys,
We talk about Islanders make the move, so we got that one over there. We tried to figure out if
what do you think, Coach? What do you think in
about
terms of a surprise, Montreal surprise?
not much. Um, I don't think so. They would trade Anderson. Um, I don't see big stuff over there. Emerson Monet injury. Um, I don't know if you call this a that enough trade. It's a big, it's a, it's
Yeah, I know, I
something,
know.
but I don't expect much. They are the the hand are ties. Then they have too many players on the market to get trade. So that's a
Right.
it, it's this is another problem. You maybe add Washington the next 3 4 days, and now they can trade many of them. Yeah, I can go all the way like that, right? So that's what the biggest problem. So injury hurt the Montreal Canadiens for the traded line, and then secondly the sailor too many sailor on the market right now for the Montreal Canadiens.
Do you feel that Savard is in the mix at all? I know we don't want to,
No.
but if the price is right,
Yeah, but I don't think so. They will. I think
okay,
if you think about what's happening right now, I think they're really focusing on all the group of leadership they have, right? Exclude Gallagher because his contract, but look about Anderson, Jake Allen, Joel Edmondson, and Josh Anderson. They are really the four veteran player with David Savard, right? If you put
right,
all those five players together, the only one could be changing that. The only one could change at some point, Joel Edmondson. The rest, I don't think so happening because they're really focusing on the leadership inside that organization, and they really pay attention. And we have so many left defensemen, so they can let it go. Emerson. That will be my
right.
only. That's the only one I think Montreal is going to trade him maybe at the off season if they cannot trade at the trade
Makes
deadline.
sense. Yeah, yeah,
I
makes
think
sense.
they play all of them. And Josh Anderson, if you think about this, he's only 28 years old. Like he's on this
I know.
perimeter of hockey, and the last 4 weeks he played a solid hockey with Montreal Canadiens. Not always, but I think you have to give credit for what he did. So I think right now for what you bring on the table for the Montreal overall, it's important for Montreal. Like Jake Allen bring a lot, and then Savard bring a lot, and on the off ice or whatever you want to call it. So we'll be see what he can do. But that's the only thing I would think about that Montreal Canadiens at this
Okay.
moment. We tried to get up Seattle Kraken. Gary asked, will be by the cheap side on the trade deadline. Do you feel that way?
I think they have the possibility of even going bigger. I don't think they necessarily have to go cheap. They have the pieces and the money that can make something a big splash happen. Question is, you know, are we talking about maybe somebody like a Timo Meyer? Are we talking about maybe uh, I don't see a defenseman. I'm looking more at a forward position for them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think it would be minor, like a national defenseman or a dead players could be for the Southern Kraken, an Athanasio or something. You know what I mean? Like a bottom, something like him. I can see Montreal. King talk about they were wreck on the market to get trade. I think again in our talk about him. I don't know one time, but he my only problem with Devorak. He carried on 2 years at $4.5 million and he not
Yeah,
create an impact as a shaker, your second center. So it's really hard with the salary cap of all the players because the trade deadline is a specific team, right? It's the buyer team. It's the team going to the playoff. It's not a team thinking about a little bit longer with the players. So for me, the Varek does not sound, from in my eyes or my ear, a team would like to get a guy like Tewaraka to go that way over there. Wow, we have no
Ty.
goal there. A breakaway and he hit the post, Coleman, Mr. Natap. He
Oh
beat the
my.
goalies. He beat the goalie. But Coleman sent a puck on the post.
It's one of those years for Calgary. Oh my
Like
goodness.
everybody look at the screen right now and they cannot believe it. Coleman cannot believe it. Like they check again. Unbelievable. He beat him on the 5-0 and he hit the post completely straight. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Coleman cannot believe it again. So it's another year for sure about that. So Devorek is that's the answer for everybody. What team do you think Patrick Kane goes to from Melissa? If you have to get that question, what it would be, Mr. Natap?
Mm. Personally, I would love to see him go to Buffalo and return back home. But that's just a personal uh, uh, request of mine because I think Buffalo could really use that kind of experience in their change room as well. And if they're going to make a run, I mean, I know they have other areas of concern before they address it with Kane, but uh, he'd be a great addition. And we're starting to see now, especially that game against the Leafs, he was really in form. Skated extremely well. You saw all the things that he can do and bring to the table. So you look at some other teams that could use him. I mean, obviously Boston would definitely benefit from him. If Carolina can make something happen, and there's the added scoring that you're talking about that they don't have currently, and with Pacioretty out the whole year, like this would be a nice fit in for them. Uh, and I think he goes to the East. I don't know if I see him going to the West anywhere. Maybe Dallas on the outside chance.
Yeah, Dallas would be the thing I was going to talk about. This we know a lot of people put Kane with the Edmonton Oilers, right? But I think a team,
Yeah,
all the
it's
team
tough.
could surprise everybody. I think it's really the the Edmonton the Dallas Star. I think if you're Dallas Star right now, the GM and the coach, everybody over there, they would say, "Wait a minute, we're not looking good right now here." And I think that
Exactly.
we need to add more players, Mr. Natal.
And it's good that they come to that realization at this stage, right?
Yes, that's a good timing. Then I would say to you, what I would not agree for Buffalo. I think they are not ready yet, and the cost for what they get for Kane, for the what they need and what they're looking. I don't think so. It's worth it for Buffalo Sabers. I think Buffalo Sabers should wait one more year. Not only for Kane, but any other players to set up, maybe keep their first round pick and whatever they want to add more a good trade deadline. If I was
Yeah.
Buffalo, Buffalo would not damage their situation right there because they are not guaranteed on the playoff. So you spend a first round pick and a third round pick, whatever they want to get. I would not. If I was them, I would not do it. Uh,
Yeah, I see that point. It's just that right now you look at that East and the gap is really narrowed because you got Detroit, you got the Islanders, of course Pittsburgh and Washington, you got
it's too hard.
Buffalo. It's too hard, but at Florida too, right? You have six teams in the mix there for two.
But if you think about this, like you further win
It's
again, right? And then you want to have one maybe Detroit Buffalo win, and then now Florida fall right away back what it was before they win the Anaheim Ducks today. The
I
problem with
know, I
Buffalo, they
know.
have 60 game Florida, and now the rest of the team have only 5, 6 game in front of them to play more of them. So Florida looking good right now, descending on the point, but not looking good on the winning percentage,
Yeah,
right? And this again, they can
absolutely.
lose. They cannot lose today for them.
No, I know. It's
Can
critical.
one not add Patrick Gaines is a slight skate. He can play many years for Yamo. About him, Yamo, no, they don't play anymore. The Calgary and Edmonton Oilers for that. So he can go to the Islanders now. Um, I don't see that with Islanders. I think it would be really bad to see Patrick Kane in the Islanders in my eyes. Like the structure, the way they play, the way they
It's
have,
not
I
his
don't think so.
style.
I
It's
think
not his
Karina fit
style.
well over there. If they can move
Yeah.
Markin Nikash center, I think Kane could be a really good additional for them. And then don't forget, guys, Vegas Golden Knight.
Yeah. That's a possibility too.
What about Colorado?
I don't think so. I don't see that happening. I think they have more of a keen
Well, they're
interest
looking for the
at
center for
center.
sure about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Renaud, talk about Patrick Kane to LA.
Possibly. Again, that's a team that has the pieces that can make it work.
Yeah,
So that would be a huge lift for LA.
they're really targeting a left defenseman, but you're absolutely about this. They keep looking good, Mr. Tap. You know, the team we thought he's going to be now. They won the last couple of games, so would be interesting. But now we hit the Mr. Tap, the leaderboard. So let's move on there. I changed it. I only have the graphics, so we'll go to disappear for a couple of minutes. But talking about the leaderboard, Mr. Tap, and let's see what we have. It's not there. This is another place we should not go, but we've been there, so it's good to see that. That's a good one to get this. If I can find a little board, Mr. Tap, would it be better? to go that way. The leaderboard of this one, Mr. Tap. Let's start again with the body boss, Mr. Natap. You still lead, but Peter August joined you and with one. Vinny got two last week. Was the reason. But what about Double J, Mr. Tap? A hat trick for Double J is in the house with three. Congratulations, Double J, for that one over there. For the jail time, but not too bad. Only John Mickelson was the only one go twice over there. And but the rest not too bad. Not many gel last week, so that's good news for everybody. And then we got Mr. Tap for the winning percentage, and we have for the win
Coach
leader.
Frenchie.
I'm sorry again. Yeah, I get there. I'm
Coach
still
Frenchie.
lead by
He's
6
over
over
600.
Yamo, and I'm still not at 600. But we thought this week will be a little bit better. Hopefully, we can get there. So again, like. It's not easy. And then the night we have the number of the point still late barely over Yamo, following by you and Vinny jumping at the race now, Mr. Yamo Vinny. Congratulations for the Vinny about that one over there. So that's all the leaderboard we got, Mr. Natap, right now. So we just want to share with you what we got here, and then we're going to have. Mr. Natap, but I think we have some people at the jail, no?
I believe we do.
I know, and I think I did not put the.
Oh, we definitely do.
We have a couple of people
It's funny
over there. I think
because
one of them is John M. Mr. Natap.
I think it's just Nick, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
Is Chicago
Yes.
and Ryan Kirk, Mr. Natap.
1 and 4, and Ryan Kirk, right?
They are the two people go to the jail today, Mr. Natap, on the Danny sale about this one over there. So you go to be
Let's
guys for
lock 'em up.
24 hours. It's not too bad, but you'll be fine. Don't worry about that, Ryan.
Let's
This
do
is
it.
good. Are you ready, Mr. Natap?
Let's go.
Here we go. They are stuck over there for the next 24 hours. Congratulations, both of them. I know he hurt sometime. I understand. We've been there before. Chicago Bear, here we go. Come on. Chicago Bear. Winner, get a car.
The funny thing is his only win was the Chicago pick he made, which was
that's the beauty about that one in there. So he was stuck with that got one of them. So here we're happening. We're only 2 games, and then the game is always over, Mr. Tap, with 2 seconds to go. The Calgary lost tonight by the score 4-3. Unbelievable. Talk about a jab, an uppercut. Chris Kennedy, new subscriber, Mr. Tap.
Welcome aboard, Chris.
You know, sometimes you lose people, sometimes you gain people.
That's the way life works.
5 days, 16, 17, 18. I think we have to go that game, Mr. Tap. Start at 7 o'clock the next couple of minutes. We have 2 games to show about this, and we'll see what we got here, Mr. Tap.
Oh my goodness, this is a tough one. It's a must-win situation for both these two teams. The Islanders finish a short 2-game road trip tonight when they play the Penguins. We're looking at Sorokin against Jari in net tonight for Pittsburgh. The teams, like these teams just played on Friday night, if you recall, where the Islanders had to come from behind to score 3 unanswered goals and win that game 5-2. You know, with both teams being tied in points, currently occupying both the wild card playoff spots, you know, this game's going to have huge implications in the standings when all is said and done. Even though the Islanders won last game only a few days ago, things have changed a little bit. The Islanders caught the Penguins, I think, on the last game of a 4-game road trip, where their previous 3 games were played out on the West Coast. So, you know, you can make the argument they caught them a bit tired, and as the game progressed, the Islanders slowly came back. We did see that indeed. However, with both these teams playing their third game in 4 nights. The Islanders now are the ones on the road. And I think Pittsburgh has the advantage because they've had the opportunity to rest up a little bit. The other large advantage is probably the Pittsburgh offense going up against the Islander defense. The defense for the Islanders has kind of let them down a little bit lately. They have to play a much tighter and much more physical type of game. They're not carrying the defensemen are not carrying the puck very well, is what I noticed in the last, I'd say, week and a half. When you play a team that has enough hot guns like Pittsburgh does, you could be in trouble here. The only other thing that I was thinking about here is if you look at the last 8 times that these two teams have met, the Islanders have won 6 out of those 8 games. But I'm not going to be swayed by that. I hate taking Pittsburgh, but I think they're going to win tonight, and it might be an overtime victory, 4-3.
4-3, Mr. Tap, but we have the same score tonight, Mr. Tap.
4-3.
4-3,
Perfect.
4-3. Yep, and we expect from Yamo, Tristan Jarry back in the lineup again at Zorokin,
Yes.
Mr. Tap.
And hopefully that'll give him a bit of a push. Who knows? Sometimes it doesn't work out that well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And next we have, our last game, Winnipeg and the New York Rangers. Again, not a game that will really impact Montreal in any way, but it definitely will impact the standings and playoff positioning, especially where Winnipeg is concerned. Not that either team is in risk of not making the playoffs, but in terms of juxtapositioning within their own division. Fans of both the Jets and the Rangers can argue that tonight's matchup could be a preview of the Stanley Cup final. I don't know if I would believe that necessarily, but it could definitely be a possibility. Both teams they look set to be in the postseason and are beginning to catch their division leaders. However, as I said before, Winnipeg's only gone 5-5 in their last 10 games. They haven't been particularly as impressive as they were earlier on. The Rangers, on the other hand, especially after, they were playing some really good hockey prior to the trade for Tarasenko. And ever since Tarasenko's come back, I'm starting to see that. And we talked about this before. Players are in their right positions now, or I wouldn't say right position, more appropriate position is probably a better way to describe it. And we're seeing, guys like Trocheck is playing a much better brand of hockey right now because of it, and that goes a long way for the Rangers. The goaltending has been superb. They were going to start Riddick, but seeing the severity of the game, they've thrown in Hellebuck, and so that makes it a great goaltending duel tonight against Shesterkin. So we'll see how this ends up, but I anticipate it to be two teams that like to muck it up, two teams that will play very physical, and they will feel the pain after this game for sure. But I think the Rangers being at home gives them a slight advantage. I see an empty net goal here by Tarasenko at the end. So I'm going to take the Rangers by a score of 4-2.
4-2, Mr. Tap on that one with them, but I don't know why we have the same score.
That's good. Easy
Yeah,
to maintain.
but I go with Zibanejad.
I can't catch up.
Zibanejad, Mr. Tap.
Empty net.
Empty net.
Yeah. Okay,
So
we'll
we have
see.
Pierre Martin, Rangers 6-2. I don't like they've been against the Jet, but I think the Rangers are a more complete team. I think Danny knocked the door.
Yeah,
Welcome
I
back,
agree.
Mr. Danny. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like if you don't mind. That'd be great if you don't do it yet. I think, Mr. Tap, we can talk about the fact like Tarasenko not change only. He helped Panarin Panarin since Tarasenko, we have an amazing. I'm surprised Panarin is not on the first star of or the 3-star of the week in
Yeah,
NHL.
absolutely.
Um, so that's to give you an idea. The three already in front of him have an amazing, great weeks for them. But that's happening tonight, tomorrow. 9 games, Mr. Tap, on the program. But I want to remind you two specific games: the Detroit Red Wings and the Washington Capitals.
Yes.
Really important game on that one there. Then the Kings versus the Wild. So, the rest is like Canucks for the Montreal Canucks, a Predator, Nashville Predator. But it's not like a big impact, honestly, or the fact they can join them. But and then for Nick, if you want to know, Nick
I would.
Blackhawks owes the Golden Knight tomorrow night. So I don't know if it's good news or bad news for them about that.
Oh yeah, you never know. But
You don't never
I
know.
was just gonna. I was gonna throw in even the Toronto Buffalo game. Should have some good subline stories going on here because they're two teams that whenever they play in each other's barnyard, they tend to win. So it'll be an interesting game. Buffalo knows that they have to win. Toronto wants to, sort of dismiss that loss to Chicago off their minds. I think we can add that one to the mix as well.
You're absolutely about this. The King finished with this question, Mr. Tap. Trouba will hurt his old team, Gary. Is who are your three candidates for Wisner up to now? I choose the back at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I definitely would put Hellebuck in that conversation. I would put Sorokin in that conversation, and possibly very quiet year, but very effective. I would say even I was going to say Ottinger, but I'm forgetting. Of course, Allmark's having a great year too
Yeah,
with Boston.
that's the one you have to go with, Ulmark, I think. But I still Oettinger is on the race. It's funny, Mr. Tap. Ulmark
Yeah,
1.88, but Swimmen 2.21.
exactly. Which is still
If you think
good.
about the goal against the other, Alibak is number 10 and Zorokin is number 11 goaltender for that one there. On the same percentage, you have to go with Jake Ottinger. He's a dominate on
Yeah,
both ways. Alibak is number 4 and Zorokin number 5. So you have to put their name a little bit there. But Enter is, yeah. So Ilmark dominates. So the winner, I think, right now is Ilmark.
yeah, I would probably agree.
Did anyone see the Yannick Gord on his own goal after the face-off? Not today. I did not watch the game
No, I
yet.
didn't see that. No, no.
So I think that's what. If he did that, I'm not sure that was the goalie was thinking, but um, who knows about that. That's pretty much what we got. Is we'll be back at 9 o'clock, Mr. Tap. Tonight we talk about too many injuries for the Montreal Canadiens. So we're going to talk about this part. On the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to have tonight, Mr. Tap. We tried to do this on the weekend. We didn't have no time, but tonight we're going to the friendship quiz is back. But we have live Nick and Danny T are on back live, Mr. Tap, tonight.
Okay. They have to get their 2 cents in worth.
So
Yes,
we're
the
going to
Leafs
talk
won.
about this, what they have to say about the W. One against Montreal and one Chicago against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So it'll be interesting to think about that. So what we're going to do, maybe we bring them after that on the friendship quiz. So we'll be back tomorrow night, Mr. Natap, at 6 o'clock p.m. So invite everybody. Before you knock the door, don't forget, guys, to click on the like. That'd be great if you can do that. They're helping us. And don't forget, guys, to be with us tonight. And that's pretty much what we got, Mr. Natap. Anything else what you're looking for tonight? What, only 2 games now?
Yeah.
I understand it's not many things you want luck, but I think you have some time. And, for me, if you want to ask me, I will say to you, I want to see Pittsburgh because I think Pittsburgh need that W more like anything else for Pittsburgh. I know the Islanders need that too, but I think Pittsburgh they need a Jerry and shape. They need Jerry to become really a one could make its friends for not only tonight but the next 10, 15 games for them. Stay healthy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's. I think it's critical for both teams. I think I would go so far to say it's probably more important for the Islanders, especially without Barzell.
Yeah, absolutely. Pierre Martin, no weekly stats. Are you talking about the leaderboard of the show, Pierre? We did it earlier, so I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Um, if you're not, I don't know what you talk about, but we
Yeah,
just did
Pierre,
earlier about this.
Pierre, if you email me, I can send them to you.
And then we have, by the way, Willie Snyder in the house. Maybe something we can do, Mr. Tap,
Welcome, Willie.
to send an email to the people like during the weekend on Monday with a little board and Saturday, like you did today.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
I think it'll be great. I think it'll be good about that one over there. So,
sounds good.
So that'd be great about this. Right, guys, Willie Snyder will be with us tonight live with Danny and Nick. I forgot about him, by the way, Mr. Tap. So that's going to go another warm-up show, but before we leave, we invite everybody.
You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
He is. He's always been the one, the best at Mr. ENORTAP.
Right.
Until then, my friend, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the first half of what, Mr. ENORTAP?
Year 2023.
We did it again. I will see you guys at 9 o'clock tonight, Mr. ENORTAP. Have an amazing, great dinner.
Thank you, too, sir. We'll see you tonight. Hopefully, I'll be able to join live as well.
Awesome. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.